Hello everyone, hi. My name is Pamela Burnett. And when I went there, because I called him over the weekend, it was the 4th of July weekend, I'll never forget that. I went in and he felt it. He said, this needs to come out now. He said, but we don't have time. He said, well, we got to go back in and get some more. I said, what? I said, okay. That was my word. It was a relationship with the Most High I was missing. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I'm in my 15th year. My very first mammogram was at the age of 40. At 40, I think that's when we were told that we had to, that was during the time we have to start getting our breast exam. And so I did. I didn't know anything about it. It was just a part of my women's wellness. And so I did what my doctor instructed me to, and I went to have my breast exam. And not knowing anything about it, just thinking that it's routine. The physician at the imaging place, they said, oh, well, they took my mammogram, and they said, okay, because it was my very first one, they told me to come back in about 6 months. Okay, knowing what I know now, I just thought because I had nothing to compare it with. So I came back 6 months, not thinking anything, So went back to 6 months, and they say, okay, we want you to come back in another 6 months. Still not knowing anything, not fear for anything. And so I went back 6 months. Now he says, come back in 3 months. I didn't ask any questions, because when you don't want to feel as if you're stupid asking questions, to the professionals. So I went back. I'm worried. Those 3 months seemed like they were so long. Now I'm not doing screening mammograms. They did, we have to do an ultrasound. So I did an ultrasound. And my very first ultrasound didn't even know what that was about either. Didn't ask any questions. Still not asking any questions about my body. But something changed afterwards. Brought out a physician with her. He said, we need to talk with you. I said, talk with me? I said, okay. Not thinking anything was going on. They said, you have breast cancer. I said, breast cancer? No, I don't. I said, you've been monitoring me all those months, because every time I went in, whether it was the 6 months, they said, well, we're going to monitor you. And I said, no, you've been monitoring me. They said, well, then we need you to take these films and take them to your doctor, an oncologist. Okay, still no question. What the hell is an oncologist? I thought, I didn't know what an oncologist was. The doctor and the technician telling me that I had breast cancer. I'm not believing anything. I just want you to know, I wasn't believing any of that. I said, no, they've been monitoring me. They don't know what they're talking about. They told me to give my films to an oncologist. I gave my film to a gynecologist. Isn't that something? Who has an oncologist, So I'm in the operating room, they're prepping me, and I brought my films with me. And I handed them to my gynecologist. He actually looked at them. And he looked at them, and he said, Pam. He said, now he looked at all the film, and he said, he came back. I'm laying on the gurney all ready with, needles in my arm, finna get ready and go under. He said, Pam, do you want to have this operation, or do you want to wait until after this is taken care of? But there was a nurse behind him, and she said, no, have this now. So I didn't know, so I went on and had the hysterectomy. This was in November. I didn't get a chance to see a oncologist whom my gynecologist referred me to until January the 14th, 2 days before my birthday. I went in and I saw him, and he took those same films that I showed my gynecologist, and he put them up on the wall where they can read them, you know. He doesn't know that I have not accepted this. He's thinking that I know that I have breast cancer. I'm in denial. He put the films up. He said, that's breast cancer, that's breast cancer, that's breast cancer, that's breast cancer. All those films that was taken at the imaging place that they kept saying that they were monitoring me. He said, all of these shows you have breast cancer. I was just sobbing. I went by myself. Something you should never do. I didn't know what to do. I was in surgery 2 days later on my birthday. On my birthday. Still didn't ask any questions. Just allowed them to do what they had to do. They took a tissue. It was called a biopsy. They went in and they took some tissue out. And they analyzed it, and yes, it was. So they thinking that they're doing a lumpectomy. A lumpectomy is when they take the cancerous tissue out, and there's something that's called a margin. And so they went in the first time, but they didn't get enough. So then they said, oh, we have to go back in. Radiation therapy. They take their own x-rays. They say, oh no, we need some more tissue out. I said, you know, I'm holding on by a thread mentally. Just by a thin thread, I'm holding on. They say, well, we got to go back in and get some more. I said, wow. You know, I said, okay. That was my word. Okay. So we did that. Then the radiation therapy. 45 treatments of daily radiation. I had almost 30-degree burns. My skin peeled. It was raw. I couldn't put anything on my skin. I was so glad it was over. I remember crying. I would never cry in front of my family, because they always thought that I was so brave. No, I waited until I went into the bathroom, and I would cry all the time, because see, when you're in the shower, nobody knows that you're crying. So when you get out, your eyes are red, so they just think that it's the shower. You know, you've been in that shower for so long. This is what cancer can do to you. It affects you mentally. Not only just physically. I wasn't even thinking about it physically on my body and what it did to me. To see the rawness in me. But then after all of that was over, cancer, you know, the treatment was over. Those 45 days, each day. I couldn't even drive anymore. I had to ask my sister to take me, and I was working at the police department as a dispatcher. I couldn't even drive. Wow, I had to go I was just tired all the time. Started drinking. Called myself a social drinker. I drank enough on the weekend that could last for an eternity, I thought, you know. Still not able to tell anybody what I was going through. Didn't think that they want to understand. I'm putting up this brave front, like oh yes, I got this. I'm gonna show these folks, yeah, right. This is when this is the beginning of the breaking point for me. A staph infection that took me to the the hospital for 6 days. I had no idea that I could have died from a staph infection. I did not know. The part that was radiated, it didn't heal properly, and it was so big and hard. It was hard, and when I went into the emergency room, the doctors and the nurses, they were just rubbing my hand and saying, "Oh, we're just so sorry, we're so sorry." I said, "What you so sorry about?" I had no idea. See, I didn't even know what a staph infection was. They said, no matter what we give you, they said, it's going to be painful. I said, what's going to be painful, you know? All you're going to do is stick something in this hole, right? When they inserted this, I'm not quite sure what it was. I called it a long Q-tip. And they inserted it. It was a little small hole that did not heal. It looked like a volcano of pus just flowing, the lava. I screamed so loud that people in the emergency room, the physician, they had to come running. 8 months later, thinking I was healed from the staph infection, we proceeded with reconstruction of the right breast, but something went wrong. 1 month after I went through reconstruction, they had to remove it, and they couldn't even remove it from the emergency room. I went to the private doctor's office, and when I went there, because I called him over the weekend, it was the 4th of July weekend, I'll never forget that, you know. I told him it was hard and it's hot, and he said, come into my office Monday. I went into his office, and he felt it, and he said, I don't know what he said, but he said, this needs to come out now. He just did one little slit, and it just burst out. There was blood, there was saline, there was everything. The nurse was standing there, his nurse at the office was standing there. She was in shock. And he's telling her to move, get some towels, and she couldn't, she was just frozen. That was the day I lost it. Couldn't take any more. I had to see somebody. I had to see a therapist. I wanted out. I wanted out. I couldn't take this anymore. I couldn't be brave anymore. I needed some help. I needed somebody. There wasn't anyone I could confide in. Wow. White women are being diagnosed more with breast cancer than Black women, but guess who's dying? We are. And we're dying because we're being diagnosed at late stage. So we have to ask ourselves, or we have to wonder why. Why is that? Take care of yourself. Put your health first. Don't ignore warning signs. Sometimes I've noticed that you may not know the warning signs, but you know your body. You know your body. You know what's normal and what's not normal. I challenge you to take care of yourself so you can be around to take care of your children and watch them grow up. And you can see them graduate from college and see them get married and become productive citizens. You want to be here to see that. You want to be here for not for the good times. There's going to be some bad times, but that's life. But take care of yourself. That's what I leave with you. And I hope that if anything that I've said, anything that you've seen, and you want to know more about it, just give me a call. Again, my name is Pamela Burnett. I'm the president and founder of The Beautiful Gate, and this is the MAS Project.